Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the Paladinolive network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps featuring Spotify, so please do join Spotify. Unfortunately, we are no longer a part of the Basketball Podcast Network as they have ceased operations, but Brave the Wild does remain on the Hockey Podcast Network. That's the hockey show anyway. So, yeah. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. As I mentioned again, featured by Spotify, Timberwolves Explosion. So recommend you use that app to listen, just because it'll help. And yep, there'll be something else coming up eventually. I'll have a new announcement in the next few weeks, I guess. So I'll get to that then. Otherwise, the Timberwolves are still hanging around in the play-in, and had some ups and downs and some very weird happenings the past week, including a blowout win over the Spurs. We'll talk about that for about 10 seconds and then get into all the melodramatic bullcrap after that, and hope we get to play the Denver Nuggets after beating Oklahoma tonight. So we'll see if we beat Oklahoma tonight. But the Timberwolves, well, I guess we went 2-1 this past week, essentially. So yeah, what happened? The Wolves beat the Spurs. We'll get to the rest of the drama later, very shortly. April the 8th, 151-131. We scored 151 points in regulation. That's fun, but give up 40 in the fourth quarter, so our defense still sucks. Okay, well, whatever. I'm just teasing. Anthony Edwards, 33 points. Not a harbinger of how he'd play against the LA Lakers or anything. Rudy Gobert, 13 rebounds. 4 blocks. Well, once in a while he blocks shots and people get excited. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is kind of picking up the pace and getting hot at the right time, so that's always a good thing because he had literally vanished the last month or so. Jordan McLaughlin even had 9 assists, and he's played like dog poo pretty much most of the way here. It's been a very disappointing for Jordan McLaughlin, especially since returning from the calf injury. Karl Anthony Towns, a nice solid 22-point game with 8 assists in the game. But so it was a fun overall kind of like, okay, let's just go out there, have some fun, kick some butt, and make sure we're going to, hopefully get in the upper bracket of the play-in tournament, because we're not going to get out of the play-in tournament. We're in. We're trapped. We're trapped. They got us. We're trapped. But yeah, you want to be on the upper half, so if you have a crappy game or a crappy fourth quarter or something, your season isn't over just like that. But now it is. It's a do-or-die game against Oklahoma City Friday night. And unfortunately, again, I'm recording it the day of the game rather than after the game, so we can just preview the Nuggets or say adios, bye-bye. But we'll get to that sometime early next week, maybe, is what I'm guessing towards. So we'll see. It might be one of those mobile episodes if it's just a super quick, like, okay, we made the playoffs. If it's obviously a season-ending loss, we'll probably wait till next Friday or whatever the case is. It's going to be a rainy week, so we're getting to that gray area now of doing Timberwolves Explosion every spring, where it's like rainy days and Sundays type of thing. You know what I mean? So because fall cleanups are going to start at some point after like a 70 to 80 degree week. Stuff is starting to kind of come around and the snow is gone, but yeah, watch, the weather's turning the other way again, so we'll see how that goes. Enough of my personal life, other than I couldn't find my wallet. I had to do a small errand this morning, and I'm starting the show much later than I would have liked because I couldn't find my bleeping wallet, and I put it in a very easy to find place if I just remembered something simple, but I eventually did. Yay. Jaden McDaniels, yeah, playing his last full game of the season. Yeah, Jaden. Good job. 16 points. Thanks for the nice game against the Spurs that we were basically, just kind of romping them most of the way. Thanks, Jaden. Yeah, his last full game of the season. Keita Bates-Diop with 22 points. And wow, what a game for Keita Bates-Diop. I mean, geez, where'd that come from? That's the Spurs just kind of tagging. But, Keita Bates, hey, he can put up some numbers when given the opportunity. Trey Jones, related to Tyus with a triple-double. So it's like, yeah, we romped all over the Spurs, but it's not like they sucked the whole game either. Some of these guys had nice games. Like Trey Jones with a triple-double, that ain't bad. 10 rebounds, 12 assists, 21 points. Which one's better, Tyus or Trey? Well, I don't know. Probably Tyus still, but not bad game though. I mean, Gorgie Zhang had 8-8 game, even got a block in there and got into foul trouble. A lot like a certain power forward of the Timberwolves who likes to get in foul trouble all the time. It's all the time. And other guys on the Wolves as well. But the Wolves win comfortably over the Spurs. Let's get to where we need to go. Ladies and gentlemen, our feature presentation in so many, and I mean so many ways.
And now, our feature presentation.
Where do we begin? The Wolves beat the Pelicans. We won 113-108. But now without, Jaden McDaniels getting into early foul trouble, getting frustrated. It was kind of some lame calls, maybe Brandon Ingram and all that, getting a couple fouls on a guy named Jaden McDaniels, who then went into the tunnel and proceeded to punch a curtain who he thought magically had a cushion behind it or something. It's going to be okay. It's got a cushion behind. No, it's just a wall behind there. I don't know. I just don't know. I guess he thought there was a cushion behind a curtain, whatever that means. I don't know, but he punched a wall and broke his hand. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Wow, what an asshole.
And yes, I know this has been talked about ad nauseum during the course of the week, especially if you're local, but even overseas in Australia and New Zealand. You've probably heard about it 50 times already, but, well, here's my perspective of it. I should have probably done a mobile show after this game. I probably should have, and okay, we're going to play the Lakers, and yay, we're a bunch of idiots, but we won because we decided to play. We decided to play. The punching, of course, wasn't over. Not too long later into the second quarter, Naz Reid, what did I say Naz Reid for? Like, what am I talking about? Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert started kind of going at it. Rudy Gobert has been having issues with his back, apparently. I guess that's why he's not blocking shots or rebounding real well. Kyle was kind of giving him a hard time and all that stuff. And then Rudy was saying, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that, basically? And then I guess supposedly Kyle Anderson said STFU biatch, or if you know what I mean. And then Rudy Gobert punched him in like the shoulder, chest area. Kind of like, it was kind of like a shove, punch, shove. And the next thing you know, Taurean Prince was like, get the bleep out of here, like got up and shoved him and actually wanted to attack Rudy Gobert as well. And Kyle Anderson also wanted to attack Rudy Gobert. He had to be restrained and all that. And supposedly things blew up again during halftime, where Kyle Anderson proceeded on Twitter basically saying, blankety blank, what the blank is wrong with you all? What the blank is wrong with you all? Like kind of like everybody basically. And I think he was talking kind of in general to like team officials, as he was saying, and you guys need to make a decision this summer, basically like get him the hell out of here, him being Rudy Gobert. So interesting. Most of you know about that, but not everybody, I'm sure. But that was tweeted out. It's real. There was a black screen because maybe it was in somebody's pocket or something, the cell phone, because cell phones are pretty good at picking up sound nowadays. It might seem like crap. That's what I don't understand. When people call into radio shows, why does it sound like crap? And you can hardly hear them. It was a good game by Karl Anthony Towns. But sometimes it sounds so annoying. But yet, if you try to do a podcast or record a soundbite with a show, like say you're recording, like a clip from Jaden McDaniels, maybe you're in the locker room or whatever. I wish. But yeah, that's a really nice digital recorder, and I could record podcasts on my phone, which I actually did a Timberwolves show, and I've done several of my Freedom of Thought show on there. That's a political show. I don't recommend it if you don't want to hear it, so that's totally fine. But if you do, it's up to you. If you don't want to hear politics, because I try to keep that off this show, doggone it, which the NBA has failed to do forever. This year they've been a little quieter, thankfully. What am I going towards? But it was able to pick it up remarkably. The sound, you could hear everything basically. Like you all have a decision to make this summer, basically. It's basically like you get rid of this blankety blanker. Supposedly they kissed and made up and all that, and supposedly they're good friends all season. But I get the feeling this is all kind of conflicting reports and all that. I think some people, it's like they don't hate Rudy Gobert, but it's something that's not going well. It's just simply not going well. And you had Rick Kamla this week go on Paul Allen and basically say it's the worst trade in NBA history. Rick Kamla out of Edina, not some guy out of New York City who wants to, or like what's his name, Stephen A. Smith, who has to blow hard everything he says and does. Like, are you seeing the and he has to make a huge scene out of like, I drank a glass of water this morning and it was so cold. Well, cold is good though. So if you're complaining about that, whatever. He could make drama out of drinking a glass of water, Stephen A. Smith, because and they pay him tens of millions of dollars a year for it. Let me tell you. Wow, this world is upside down. Anyhow, to the point, Rick Kamla, Edina, Minnesota Timberwolves fan, basically, and of course with NBA TV and all that, really cool, knowledgeable guy and all that. And he basically said this Rudy Gobert trade is the worst trade in NBA history. Like, basically find a trade that's worse. Because you gave up, apparently, like how Jared Vanderbilt going to the Los Angeles Lakers has really improved their defensive ratings in a huge way. And the Lakers were dead and gone. And I got to think, even as optimistic as a Vince Germano, a Stu Benson, Kalen Woods, and many other Los Angeles Laker fans out there could tell you, they were kind of sort of dead and gone earlier in the year. They just weren't mathematically out of it, And the next thing you know, here they are, boom, and they might present a very big threat for the Memphis Grizzlies now, where Jared Vanderbilt, of course, who used to be on the Wolves, winding up with the Lakers with another trade involving the Wolves, but of course it was a three-way. It's just funny how all that got connected. It's a huge spider web, which ultimately brought Rudy Gobert here, Mike Conley here later, Nickeil Alexander-Walker here also with Mike Conley, which I thought was a really nice trade. It was a nice rebound off of what is probably going to be a historically awful trade with Rudy Gobert, because Walker Kessler Jr. is way younger, way cheaper. Way younger and way cheaper. Probably a lot better attitude overall. You don't have to love him, but there's something there. He's at least likable, at the very least. Rudy Gobert, I don't know. It seems like everywhere he goes, there's controversy. It seems like half of the Jazz team didn't really like him very much. The whole COVID thing, get over it. I'm kind of over that. I just, you know what I mean? People that are still bashing him about that, come on. I'm not really a huge fan of that kind of stuff. But, if you're going to bring that up like 50 times. But generally, team play, team chemistry. I don't know. I guess he just rubs people the wrong way often. I don't think Kyle Anderson's necessarily the nicest guy either, though. He's a really nice player and all that, but I think he gets a little bit too vulgar, and that would get old after a while, too. Yet, most people would say, though, if you're going to take somebody's side in that type of thing, you're probably going to go with Kyle Anderson, as faulty as he can be as well. Like, he made kind of a quote-unquote biatch of himself a couple times this year, too, getting ejected from a game and getting huge technicals at the wrong time. But overall, he's a better leader than Rudy Gobert has been. I don't think there's a whole lot of doubt there. Oh, and by the way, no, Malik Beasley, I don't miss him too much. He's kind of a glorified Anthony Peeler to me. Like, yay, he got hot, and then get him off the bleeping court the next game because he's missing everything and forcing up shots. But enough about Anthony Edwards versus the Lakers. Yeah, that was, great game, great. But this game was great. Anthony Edwards was in we're gonna win mode, and it was awesome. Huge blocks down the stretch, 4 of them at huge times. Obviously, again, jumping in the passing lanes, getting those steals that can lead to dunks, 13 rebounds and the 26 points. But again, see, you add all that. Malik Beasley, I don't miss him too much. Jared Vanderbilt, of course, I miss him, even though it seemed like he might break down sometimes. He's a little kind of skinny for you're hoping he could put on some more muscle. Some guys can, some guys can't. Like Corey Brewer can't put on muscle, or couldn't, or can't, whatever, you know what I mean, when he was playing. But then you add in the 4 first-round draft picks, which, just imagine if the Wolves missed the playoffs and then either in the lottery. That kind of thing. 4 first-round draft picks, 4. That's insane. 4. It's just, to go along with Walker Kessler Jr., Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley. And I know there's somebody I'm forgetting. Of course, the D'Angelo Russell is a different trade, completely different trade. But I mean, you add all that together, and it's like, really, is Rudy Gobert worth that? Plus the fact he's 30 plus. He gets hurt kind of often. He kind of does. And I don't think he has a high threshold for pain. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, who am I to say? Because I'm not him. I don't know what he's necessarily going through, but I'm telling you, y'all, I don't say that ever. I just don't because I don't choose to. But you all, or they, the Timberwolves, you have a decision to make this summer. You have a decision to make this summer. Yeah. Yep. Somebody big probably is going to be gone. Luckily, it's probably not going to be Chris Finch, but then again, a lot of you don't like Chris Finch either, as we're going to get into another topic with the Lakers involving Chris Finch as we move forward. But the thought of Rudy Gobert being moved out of here this summer, I'm not crying about it. I'm really not. Cut your losses, I think. I think cut your losses. I really do. I think you blew it. Move on. Cut your losses. You could probably still get something for him. That isn't too bad. And, of course, again, you're going to take on a junk expiring contract or two to match salaries because his salary's, insane. But I think if you cut losses with Rudy Gobert, it's a good thing. Otherwise, you go for the home run trade with Karl Anthony Towns. If you're so like, okay, we have to keep Gobert. After all that. But Karl Anthony Towns is the other possible trade chip. The guy that you cannot trade is Anthony Edwards. And you probably wouldn't get a whole lot from Mike Conley. Plus, his contract isn't even fully guaranteed. Why you'd even consider dumping Mike Conley, I think, is crazy. He's a calming influence in the locker room. Kyle Anderson is a little crazy. He has a temper, too. His name sounds Irish or Scottish, and he's got a little bit of that temper in him. That Irish or Scottish temper in him. It's there, even though maybe he has a little Irish or Scottish in him. I don't know. It could be like a little bit. But it's kind of funny because it's like Kyle Anderson, even though you don't think about that accent, but I guess you never know, right? You never know. Josh Richardson, 29 minutes and 2 points. Boy. Man. Seems like yesterday he was looked on as he's a rising star in this league. Wow. Anyhow, but this game kind of puts you in a point where a lot of people call it, like, locally, like, was it Mackey and Kyle, the other Kyle, on, what's it called, Flagrant Howls, like about popping the zit. Like, this was kind of like a game where they popped the zit, where now we really know what's going on a bit more with players and the vibe around Rudy Gobert and all that. I think they should try to get rid of Rudy Gobert this summer. I do. I think the Timberwolves should try to do that if humanly possible. Is it crazy? I don't know. Maybe. And the other complaint is, like, the Judge Zolgads of the world, and I say that to Karl Anthony Towns is, and Mackey and all that. Karl Anthony Towns, kind of like Kirk Cousins, nice numbers, wow, this and that, but just not a winning player. Not a winning player. I think we're at that point now. You can say that. He's 8 years into his career, and I don't know. Then you'll be like, oh, you're a moron. He's look at the crap they put around him over the years. Yeah, well, look at the crap that's around him this year. Is it that bad? Is that crap? Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, guys like that, Kyle Anderson, Taurean Prince. Is that crap? I don't think it's crap. I really don't think it's crap. I think this team should have won 55 games this year. 50 games. 50 games this year. 50 games isn't going to put you on a pedestal, but it's a hell of a lot better than 42. And it's by the grace of God we won 42 games. We could have been 500 or less because, at least we beat some good teams. But then you can't beat the bad teams. And it's like, well, here we are, 42 wins. That's bullcrap, man. And, Karl was out. Yeah, well, when he was in, he didn't, it was kind of like the Wolves were kind of 500 basically when he was in. So, again, hello? Am I that stupid? You might be like, yeah, unsubscribe, unfollow, goodbye, Purdue Timberwolves Explosion, you're a moron. Okay, go ahead, call me that. Go ahead and call me that. I'm not the only person that has these opinions. I'm really not. And some people are actually getting paid money to do shows and are having the same opinion. Yeah. Yep. Maybe I'll get paid a couple bucks here and there. Hopefully. I'd like to. With, this and that. We'll get to that some other time. We're not quite there yet. Other than, obviously, Crypto.com. Hopefully that can get going as well. But, Anyhow, there are some decisions to be made this summer, and supposedly, I guess next year is an even bigger year potentially, where the Wolves could really make a big splash one way or another, like a trade involving whoever, a big name player, not named Anthony Edwards, unless he has games like the LA Lakers, as we'll digress into that now. A 108-102 loss in a game where the Wolves were kind of ahead the whole game, like double digits the whole game, double digits ahead the whole game. I'm going to keep saying that. Why? What the hell? And then it's like clang, clang, clang. I mean, the Lakers kept missing shots. It felt like this game was going to be like 88-86 or something. Like Pistons versus whoever, in the NBA, Pistons and I don't even know. Just hell with it. Pistons versus some other team, big hardcore defense, or just, in this case, just terrible shooting. There's a reason why Anthony Davis had 15 rebounds, because we shot like dog poo. Kyle Anderson, of course, again, no Rudy Gobert. Karl Anthony Towns back to his more natural position of center, even though he's a good power forward. Don't get me wrong, I like him at power forward. But Karl Anthony Towns had one of his best games of the season. I won't say one of the best games of his career, because he disappeared in the fourth quarter again, which hence brings up, again, that negative comment of, is he a losing player? Good player, but not winning. There's a difference between being good and between winning and good. Kirk Cousins, with his 500-ish record of his whole career and all that with Washington and Minnesota, until this year, 13-4. But then what happened in the first round of the playoffs? Check down Charlie. Game over. Vikes lose. Shock of the century. Karl Anthony Towns, I don't know. Last year, remember he did the he had a bad game versus the Clippers, and then he had a good game versus Memphis, and then he didn't have a good game versus Memphis, and then he did, and then he didn't. It was the lack of consistency to go along with maybe some really bad game versus the Clippers, where he was flailing all over the place, and then D'Angelo Russell got hot and then sucked major crap the rest of the series, and good riddance to that clown. And he had 2 whole points versus the Wolves. Yeah, D'Angelo, 2 whole points versus the Wolves. He sucks. I don't miss him. 1 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 4 from downtown. Pretty much what he did versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Sucked and sucked and sucked and sucked. And then Dennis Schroeder got hot, and good for him. I forgot he's from Germany, by the way. Dennis Schroeder's from Germany. That's cool. I forgot. So, interesting. Austin Reeves missed wide open shots a million times in the game. D'Angelo missed a lot of shots. LeBron missed some, and then he got hot when he needed to. It had a really good game, generally speaking. Complained every time he drove the ball down the court. Complained every time there was a foul called on him. Complained. That's why he's a billionaire, because he complains every 10 seconds. He's a billionaire. I can't believe it. Yep. He is a billionaire, and he's still playing basketball, which is crazy. Michael's a billionaire after playing basketball, where obviously his career got him there, because he's better than LeBron. Anyhow, yes, he is. Is, whatever. Rui Hachimura had a couple of good ones, and then missed some shots as well. It was a terrible game. It was bad. Missed shots over and over again. Anthony Edwards couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He got hurt in the game with the shoulder, so to speak. But still, it felt like he was struggling before the shoulder injury and before what some people thought could be a concussion, but something just wasn't right. Like he was sick or something. Maybe he was secretly sick and was hiding it. I don't know, but he was awful. Him being Anthony Edwards was awful. 3 of 17 from the floor. Mostly just dunks. Yeah, it was a couple of dunks because, well, it has to go in when you're just throwing it in. Everything else, he couldn't hit a 3, 0 of 9. And he kept taking them, which was really annoying. He just kept taking them, and, okay, he'll hit that one. Okay, well, he'll hit that one. Oh, come on. One thing after another, but at least he blocked some shots and had 5 assists somehow in the game. 8 rebounds. Anthony Edwards played his butt off despite shooting like dog dookie. It was terrible. It was weird. I didn't understand it. He deserves criticism. Anthony Edwards deserves criticism for that game. It was terrible. Karl Anthony Towns had Garnett-like numbers, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, which actually is, Garnett usually actually got less for some reason. Kyle Anderson with 4 blocks and 4 steals, just like Anthony Edwards, 4 blocks and 4 steals. A phenomenal game versus a phenomenal game versus the New Orleans Pelicans, who are now eliminated, if you can believe it. They're dead. That game put them down into the 9-10, and then they got knocked out by our next opponent. the Oklahoma City Thunder. But this Laker game was dog dookie. Again, this is the play-in game with the Lakers, of course. We win and we move on to the rematch with the ever-talking big mouth jackass Jaw Morant. Jackass Jaw, or whatever. Big talker Morant. Punch him in the jaw. Something like that. The Wolves were playing so well, except for Anthony Edwards, with the shooting. He was playing well outside of his shooting, but couldn't, it was weird. His offense was like dead. Like, I've never seen it that bad. It was strange. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, again, some close range and a three-pointer and all that, wound up with 11 points. Very solid game for Nickeil, and we needed help from him because Anthony had a bad game. That's that simple. Mike Conley, again, another insanely scorching type performance from downtown. Like, when he gets hot, he's crazy. 6 of 8? Jeez. Like, that was beautiful. But Taurean Prince also starting in the game at one of the forward positions. I guess small, right? And then Kyle played power and got 13 rebounds to lead the Wolves. Great game by Kyle Anderson. Didn't shoot well, though, because nobody did. It was just the worst flipping shooting. But Mike Conley's red-hot shooting actually caught the Wolves to 39% from three. 16 of 41, thanks to Mike Conley. I mean, I am giving him credit for that. 43.4% overall, but it felt like frickin' 28%. It was dog dookie. Especially down the damn stretch. Jordan McLaughlin couldn't catch a cold. Well, he couldn't shoot the ball, actually. Catching cold, I don't know what that has to do with anything. I don't know if Anthony Edwards got something, like a cold or flu or something, but 3 of 17 is weird. And again, they were pretty much dunks and then 3 free throws. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Anthony Edwards in an awful, awful night. Couldn't even make a layup at times as well. So hopefully Anthony Edwards is better and ready to go for OKC tonight. But, and again, this was the 20th time this season, or was it the 19th or 20th time that the Timberwolves blew a double-digit lead this year, which is number 1 in the NBA. And what did the Wolves do last year? We broke an all-time record for blowing double-digit leads in a series versus the Memphis Grizzlies. All-time record in NBA history in a series, blowing double-digit games. Double-digit leads in games, anyway. So, it's got to stop. And that's where Chris Finch could possibly be on the chopping block, but say we get blown out tonight, there's a small possibility. But all indications from like the Darren Doogie Wolfsons of the world that Glenn Taylor and all them are not writing a check to fire Chris Finch, who just signed a 4-year extension. So right now he's probably got at least one more year, if not beyond. Like he ends up, because I personally like Chris Finch. I think he's a good coach, but he does have this on his resume right now, blowing leads, and it's too much. It's leading the whole league, and his team is leading the league in blown leads. And seeing guys like Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert having an outlet on for the whole world to see, basically, because of the day and age we're in, having it out there for the whole world to see, that kind of stuff can't happen, really. I mean, things happen in training camp, obviously training camp, but in practices and stuff, Jordan and punching Steve Kerr and punching Will Perdue way back in the day, and who knows? I mean, guys, heck, even my, guys that I know, we've gotten in fights, even just friends. Even just like friends, like in a pickup game, stuff happens sometimes. Much less guys that are around each other every day. Things are going to happen. In the workplace, it's a miracle that things don't get super escalated. But there's a lot of people that don't like each other at work. Like common sense, just like here. There's going to be people, they either don't like each other or they get along to a point, but then something sets them off. And then they really, like maybe there's certain things, like I haven't liked this for a long time, and then it just boils over. So, just the vibe, like there was no real resistance from a Chris Finch and such to have a little more discipline with his players. It's kind of weird. And of course, again, Rudy Gobert suspended for the Laker game. And some people thought that, some people thought it was a dumb move. I don't know. Other people thought hell with Rudy Gobert and all that. It was probably the right thing to do. It was kind of funny how he literally got sent home from the game like a kid. But again, that tells you what Rudy Gobert is at this, which is really sad. So I'm not against the thought of trading Rudy Gobert and cutting your losses this summer. I'm not against it. I'm not. I don't think this team is going to die because we traded away Rudy Gobert. It'd be nice to get a draft pick or two back. It really would. or maybe a young warm body or two back. Younger, though, not guys that are 35 necessarily. Maybe one guy that has an expiring contract or something. But see, Conley's nice to have, but you don't need to have three more, older guys necessarily. Be nice to get a nice young body, like more Nikhil Alexander-Walker types, if not an actual well-known young name in return of some sort. I understand people aren't going to give up their franchise, future player for Rudy Gobert. That's not happening. But a nice young piece, though. A nice young piece, that's a possibility. So, with that said, I guess, I'm going to pass out the awards for the week. The Lone Wolf Award. Should it go to Anthony Edwards anyway, despite the fact, he did some other things despite shooting terribly against the Lakers, and then against, obviously, the Spurs, he went off, and it was fun and all that. But the way he kind of responded during the course of the game and the drama and all that, and the fact that we were losing by double digits. So that's a plus for Chris Finch and for guys like Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns and all that the Wolves made the huge comeback against a Pelicans team despite all that horrible crap happening on the sidelines. So the way Anthony Edwards was like, we are not losing this bleeping game. So I'm going to give it to him despite the terrible, historically bad shooting performance by Anthony Edwards. And the Johnny Flynn Memorial is Rudy Gobert with a bullet. There's no more else to say. There's nothing more to say. Rudy Gobert gets the Johnny Flynn Memorial. Congratulations. It is a big, big win. With that, I guess we'll take a quick break, look around the playoffs, and maybe preview a possible Nuggets series and all that, and go from there. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion. First, I want to recommend that you click on the link in the show description, or you can get to crypto.com. Crypto.com. It'll show that I referred you, and then you can you can trade cryptocurrencies 365, 24, 365. Basically, it's always you can trade cryptocurrencies at any time. It's fun to do. Obviously there's risk involved like anything, but some of you might be treating it like the plague, and it's not a plague. And thoughts are things are going to improve here, and it does kind of look that way. Obviously, it's not this end-all paradise of money either. There was a time it felt like that for some people, I'm sure, when Bitcoin was exploding and all that. But at the same time, again, it's an opportunity to trade and make some money. So why not? You click on the link, show that I referred you once you open your account. $25 will be put on your account, and it'll also help Timberwolves Explosion. And of course, again, like I said, if you can, download the Spotify app and listen to this show. Download and listen to it on the Spotify app. If you prefer Apple, if you prefer whatever you use, Alexa or whatever you use. Yep, yes, Alexa, you heard me. Her light went on when I said that. If you want to use that, sure, but whatever, because I have it on Amazon and all that. So, but it's up to you what you prefer. But if you feel what the heck, I kind of like Spotify, and I'll help the show, with that, by having more listeners on Spotify. So there you go. It's not an immediate help, but it builds towards help, basically, if you understand what I mean. It needs to get to a certain point of people on Spotify for it to take effect. Why is there nothing here? I don't know. Oh, because there is. There is nothing there. I'm supposed to click on this instead. So kind of a playoff preview. That's basically what this is. The Timberwolves will play the Nuggets if we win. The Oklahoma City will play the Nuggets if they win. Yeah, what the heck. So we're going to play Oklahoma City Thunder first. Again, SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, hell of a player, and all that. What's his face? The Thunder are 5th in the league in points, 14th in rebounds, 24th in field goal percentage, 17th in threes, 21st in assists, 6th in turnovers per game, 6th in turnovers ratio, 22nd in block shots, and 4th in steals. The Timberwolves and Thunder, let's see, what's the record? Obviously, the Thunder defeated the New Orleans Pelicans 123-118 in a fairly entertaining game. SGA is averaging 31 points. Josh Giddey has been a thorn in our side in the past, averaging a little under 17 points and 8 rebounds and 6 assists. It's pretty good running the show there. Dort has had some nice moments. He's a nice kind of fantasy pickup for some guys. this and that. Dario Saric is on the Thunder now, I guess. Interesting from the Suns. Aaron Wiggins, not Andrew. I've had fun with that. But then there's Ousmane Dieng, who's barely gotten to play, but he's super young and raw, averaging about 5 points a game and played about half of the games this season. So we'll see. Probably, improving in the G League and all that. But it's an entertaining team with some talent, and of course, obviously, their young potential franchise helper to go with SGA from Minnesota. Of course, again, out for the year with a foot injury. We'll get to him next year when we feel like it. But SGA is a phenom. Obviously, he's averaging 32 points a game. 31 and a half, whatever. He's decent from three-point range, a little under 35, at 51% from the floor. Obviously, he can play at a very high level. Gets to the free throw line a lot and makes 90% of them, almost 91%. And he gets to the line, or he attempts 11 free throws a game. So obviously, he's a danger, a huge threat going forward for the Timberwolves. And I wanted to look at the season schedule with these guys. I do think the Wolves can and will win the game, but will we? That's the question. I freaking hope so. Oh, it's not showing it. You son of a... That's ridiculous. But yeah, the Wolves did win the season series 3-1 this year, but the loss was a frustrating game. The Wolves' chances of winning this game, I think, are fairly high. The energy should be good in Target Center tonight. It is a home game, and that helps a lot in these play-in games. Doesn't guarantee anything because Oklahoma City won on the road already. But I do believe the Wolves will win this game, 125-118. Anthony Edwards, I don't know if he's going to get 30 points. I hope so. I think he gets. I think he gets at least 25, but I'm expecting over 60 points with a combination of Carl Conley and Anthony Edwards. Over 60 points combination. That might not be a brag thing. That might not be a very brave prediction or anything, or any type of parlay. But of course, I don't have DraftKings on this show. That's on Brave the Wild. So that's kind of where we stand with that. I do think the Wolves win that one, and then we'll eventually tip off against the Denver Nuggets. If we do play a series of the Nuggets, the Wolves have had some success with them this year. They're not a very scary number one overall seed. I'm not going to get huge into the preview, but against the Nuggets. But then again, I'll talk about them anyway. Jokic is always he's an MVP candidate every year. He averaged almost a triple-double this year. Just 0.2 assists a game to be away from a triple-double this year. Amazing season. Jamal Murray, obviously, has been a Wolves killer historically. He averaged 20 points, and welcome back to the NBA this year. Bones Highland got traded to the Clippers, right? And yeah, he was liked by some and not liked by everyone. Aaron Gordon can be a pain in the ass. He's a very athletic and talented guy. Michael Porter Jr. has had some nice moments against the Wolves and against other people. Jeff Green's still around. Wow, it's amazing. Is DeAndre Jordan on the Nuggets? I think he is, right? He is. Yep, DeAndre Jordan. He's been on about 12 teams. I'm not kidding. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. He's been on a number of teams lately. He was on the Clippers forever, but then now he's a huge journeyman. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he's been on a number of teams since being ousted by the Lakers. And Vince Germano, couldn't wait to get rid of him, I'm sure. He got sick of him. Yeah, he started with Detroit, didn't he? He's that old? He's been in the league That's insane. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been in the NBA for 10 years. Wait, what? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been in the NBA for 10 years. Oh my God. Where have I been? He's 30 years old, isn't he? Son of a gun. Okay. Marty, we gotta go back to the future. Yeah, we already did. Jeez. Yeah, a pretty weak Western Conference number one seed, though. 53-29. It's the Wolves are 58 and 24, I think it would have been. Yeah, that would be the math. We didn't quite get to the 60 wins that year because we had some crappy stretches, but we were a decent number one seed when we had it. This team definitely a little bit weaker, but still a threat to go to the NBA Finals. I don't think they will. I don't. The most recent game was a 109-95 convincing win over Sacramento at home, so good for them. If we do play this team, I think we lose in 6, unfortunately. I think it's Nuggets in 6. That's just my guess. And I could see the Wolves losing at home, just like we did last year to the Grizzlies. Because I don't trust this team right now. I don't trust this team to hold on to a 15-point lead down the stretch against Denver, Memphis, or whoever. Or the frickin' Lakers. Obviously, there's championship pedigree. There's NBA royalty on the Lakers. You got the all-time leading scorer, that one guy, that one guy. I don't know his name. It's some guy. I don't know. He looks kind of old now because he's got a big beard and stuff, and he's the Methuselah of the NBA now. No, he's not quite there yet. That would have been Robert Parrish, but he's I don't know. He's like Noah, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's LeBron James. I know. NBA royalty in the Lakers, and they are royalty in the NBA, whether we like it or not. Yeah, the Wolves still giving up that lead was still bullcrap, and I think it would happen. I think so. Let's get to the actual playoff predictions now. Kind of shoot through those. I even did it on the NBA app, so to speak, which is basically NBA.com in a mobile form. Yeah, you know what I mean. But the Nuggets would win in 6 in that series. It's just the way I'm leaning. I'm going to go to the East first. The East is not the least. The East is a beast, and the West is not the best. It's the opposite now. The East is a beast. The Bucks would play the winner between Atlanta and Miami. No, I thought the Hawks won. The Hawks did win, right? Oh, yeah, they are in. Duh. The Hawks are already in. They're number 7. Congratulations, Atlanta, who was 8th just like Minnesota. They went into Miami and won pretty solidly, 116-105. The Heat and the Bulls. The Heat and the Bulls. The rematch of the 1997 Eastern Conference Final, where the Bulls swept Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway right out of there. A very promising team, but the Bulls, the 97 Bulls, yeah, no. Because, 98 was an epic battle with Indiana. Oh, that was a good series. And then Orlando was like, get the heck out of here. Defending Eastern Conference. You won the East last. Oh, Nick Anderson stole the ball from Michael last. Get out of here. That's pretty much what the Bulls did to that team. Not the 72-win Bulls, who are way better than the 73-win Warriors. Sorry. Yes. But the winner between Miami and Chicago will play the Bucks, and will get slaughtered in 5 games or so. They will not win. They won't. Who's going to win that game? Chicago is the number 10 seed. They overcame the Raptors. Impressive win. So both road teams won in the East. Impressive. So Toronto out. Miami, is dropped down into this one. You don't want to have to play in the second game. You want to just advance right away. But of course we didn't. Last year we did. Woohoo. I like the play-in tournament just fine. I think it's cool because it gives 9th and 10th seeds a chance. But unfortunately, they're probably going to be a sacrificial lamb, barring some miracle. That's how, basketball's like that. You play against a team that's way ahead of you, you're probably not going to win, unless it's a single elimination game like these. Miami should win, right? They should. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to look at the matchup real quick. What the hell? Because it's a single game and it's entertaining. I don't know. A lot of indicators tell me that the Bulls are going to win this game. Yeah, I think so. And they don't show the season series. God. The Bulls had won 3 games in a row, and the Heat are kind of, they're okay, blah, 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 blah. The Heat were the 7th seed coming in, too. You'd think the Bulls are going to win this one, and it'd be kind of a fun way for Jimmy Butler to say, get out of here, former team, good riddance, whatever. I think I'm going to lean towards the Chicago Bulls. I mean, you got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Bulls. The Bulls will beat the Heat and get sacrificed by the Milwaukee Bucks in 5. Now that I've drugged that on too far. Hawks and Celtics, I love the Atlanta Hawks. I love the logo, the colors, and everything. I don't necessarily love the team, but I like Clint Capella. But the Celtics will win that one in probably 5 or so. So Celtics and Bucks advance. The next group would be the Cleveland and New York would have the right to play the Milwaukee Bucks. Cleveland and New York, man, that's going to be a great series. But the Cleveland Cavaliers win that one in 6. They'll play the Bucks in round 2. Philadelphia and Brooklyn. I picked Brooklyn earlier. I did. I kind of like that. They're a scrappy team. And what's his face? I'm not impressed by him. I like Joel Embiid for the most part, but he gets hurt a lot. I think Philly does not win that series. I think the Bucks beat the Bucks. I think the Nets win that series in 7, and Philadelphia loses another Game 7 at home. Either that or they're going to absolutely pound Brooklyn into the ground in like 4 or 5 games. But I'm going to go with Brooklyn in 7 versus the Celts. And the Celts then would win that one also in 5 or 6. Celtics will win that series pretty easily and go to the Eastern Conference Final, where the Bucks will be waiting for them after beating the Cleveland Browns in 6. Cleveland Cavaliers in 6. Bucks and Celtics, you have an all-green Eastern Conference Final. Celtics win in 7. Celtics go to the NBA Finals. Excuse me, Denver over Minnesota or Oklahoma in 6. Phoenix. Nope, let's go to Memphis and LA. I got a sneaky feeling, man. I got a feeling the Lakers are going to win that series in 6 or 7. Lakers and LeBron James, you get him to game 7. He's going to win. He's going to beat you. I think the Lakers beat the Memphis Grizzlies. What do you think of that? Vince Germano, Kalen Wood, Stu Benson, if you're listening. Vince is listening, I hope. Hope he hasn't lost interest yet. But might be busy. Maybe he's listening to it late because, he's busy. He's a busy guy. I understand completely. Phoenix versus the Clippers. I think the Suns beat the Clippers. That's gonna be a fun series. That's gonna be a sneaky fun series. 5 or 6. I'll go with 6. Suns over the Clippers in 6. Sacramento and Golden State, the Kings are going to win that series. Go ahead and go, Golden State's NBA royalty. They're going to beat the Kings in 5 games. No, they're not. Sacramento's going to win that series, and they're going to the second round, of course, to play the Lakers. That'll be epic. I actually picked Memphis before, partially because I thought it was going to be us. I thought we were going to be the 7th seed, but no. No, we're not the 7th seed. I thought Memphis was going to advance with. I don't know. That Laker team is kind of scary now. Then again, if they play like they did versus us, Memphis is going to win that comfortably. Memphis will win that in 5 or 6. They stunk. The Lakers. They were not. I hate Memphis right now. I hate John Morant right now. Oh, he's such a punk. It'll be interesting to see. Gosh, I wish you guys would do a show. The Vince Germano going at it with Stu Benson and, of course, Wayne Hunt, the alpha dog there. John Morant is a punk. He's a good player, but he's a punk. And Steph Curry's a punk, too, obviously, if you didn't notice. Yeah, he is. Every damn time he makes a shot. He still hasn't grown up yet. It's one thing to celebrate, but after every shot, though, come on, man. Come on. Sacramento wins over the frickin' Warriors in 7. It's gonna be a dogfight. And that kind of sucks because the chances of getting the West Finals will be tougher. But I think it is going to be a purple Western Conference Final. What do you think of that, folks? I do think Sacramento's going to go on a little playoff run this year, and I hope they do. And I think another team is geared and ready to go on a huge playoff run if Kevin Durant doesn't have a hangnail and miss the rest of the playoffs, or a terrible injury as well, which is possible. Now, Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers might wake up and beat the Suns in the first round and go on a playoff run themselves. I don't think Denver even makes the West Final. I don't. I think Denver chokes in the semifinals either way in 6 or 7 games. Let's go with 7. But I think Denver's going to choke and not get to the West Finals. You're going to have I'm predicting a purple and green conference finals, if you know what I'm saying, and a purple and green NBA finals. Either way. Phoenix will defeat Sacramento in 6 games to go to the NBA Finals versus the Boston Celtics, who will then win the NBA championship in 6 games. It's always everything's 6. I don't like that number if you put it 3 times. So 6, 6, 7. No, but I don't mean it that way. But a lot of series end up that way. But you're going to see a sweeper too, I'm sure. I don't think the Suns sweep the Clippers. I'd be shocked, but it's possible. I think Phoenix will overcome Denver in 7, and then beat the Celtics in 6 after they sneak past Milwaukee. But the Bucks, we may very well have a rematch of the NBA Finals with the Bucks and the Suns. But I'm pretty convinced the Eastern Conference wins it all this year, unless just Kevin Durant, just goes off with the Phoenix Suns. I think they're the only team in the Western Conference that can win the NBA championship this year. And I got a sneaky feeling if somehow it's Bucks and Suns again, that the Suns win the championship. Finally. They finally end their 53, 54-year drought or whatever it's been. They finally do it. And they win it all. That's where I'm kind of, I don't know. If it's the Bucks. if it's the Celtics, I think they're going to win it this year. I think they're going to overcome and win, especially if it's the Golden State Warriors and Celtics. Celtics win that series. Damn it, they are going to win in 5 games. They're going to beat them really good. But I think there's going to be a revenge factor one way or another, in a sense. Otherwise, I don't think the Suns avenge the 1976 loss to the Celtics. I think they would be back to waiting again, which is depressing. But I don't know. Maybe the Suns do win it all. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I kind of have a sneaky feeling that I do think they go to the NBA Finals, though. I'm going to pick the Celtics to win it all. Still, like I stuck with at the beginning of the season, in 6 or 7 games over the Suns. At the end of the day, that's what I'm leaning towards right now. But yeah, I think the Celtics are champions at the end of the day. So I've drugged that a little bit, but it's a fun conversation, I hope. That's what the playoffs are all about. It's fun, 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 fun. With that, we'll take a quick break, and I think there's a little bit of fan interaction to get to, and it's totally a great thing to have some, no doubt. We are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. And we get another awesome video from Random Hoops. I just love you. I just love you, Reese Pedretti. I do. Coming out of Brisbane, Australia. Random Hoops, again, do give him a follow. This will be a very enjoyable 17-second clip for a lot of you. Enjoy. And please share with any hoop heads that might appreciate it. Just so many NBL legends in one video. So what happened, there was a huge fight with, there's Gaze. Yep, I know that name. Yep. It was a huge fight, kind of reaching for the ball and all that. And then it just triggered a big old thing, like a brawl basically on the court. A brawl on the court. I'm going to have a dust up with that flunker. I'm going to beat his ass. Guys with Vlado. Yep. That's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, they're going to whoop each other's ass. No, I'm sorry. Arse. Sorry, wrong accent, Joey. Wrong accent. That was cool, though. I like that. Oh, interesting. Today tweeted Stu Benson. Must have been because of the Laker game. Yep. Well, that wasn't 3. Where it said, what were they having a conversation about? The best strategy in the NRL. Looks like that's a different, yeah. Oh, okay. Rugby league, huh? Cool. That's cool. They're having a little conversation about rugby. Nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with that. Sorry. Yeah, I know. It's like, Joey, stop with the Aussie accent. You sound stupid. You're not doing it right. Joe. Wow. Every year is so different. Yeah, there's snow and kind of cold in the image there. There was snow and cold just like, 10 days ago. But it's going to get cold again without the snow. Every year, every April is kind of weird. April 14th, my cat would have turned, if she was still alive, of course. She'd be like old enough to be a Civil War veteran now. In cat years, anyway. 33. Wow. Anyhow, April 14th. Happy birthday, Chloe. She'd be well into her hundreds of cat years and, yeah, this and that. I'm going to check Facebook real quick before I get back to Twitter, just in case. Facebook.com/Timberwolves Explosion. Is there any comment? I loaded the bracket challenge. I don't know if that's just a link, though. I don't know if that helped anybody. Okay. Here we go. An anonymous NBA GM. This is awesome. So I'm actually going to come back to this next. I'll wrap up the show with it. I just wanted to check and make sure first. So, yeah, like there's something there waiting for me. Vince Germano out of Victoria. Melbourne, Australia. Tanae Brown out of New Zealand, and Benzo out of the Bronx. All over the place. Very cool, in a good way. I'm going to follow something here. Okay. Retweeted episode 364. And I'm going to keep putting the episode number up from now on. I figure, why not? I guess everyone else does it. There was a time many years ago where a guy told me, that's a bad idea. It's like it's dating the show. You don't want the show to be dated. Unfortunately, this is sports. So in a lot of ways, actually, dating is good for sports. Like, remember back in June 17th, in June 17th, 2008, the Celtics won their 17th championship. See, that kind of thing. See, it's nice to have that. I think it was the 17th episode, too, of Timberwolves Explosion. It was still very new. Or 17th episode of Paladinolive. It wasn't even Timberwolves Explosion yet. Wow, that's far back. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for your retweets. It's just, yep, I really appreciate that. We need to win both. We did win against the Spurs and the Pelicans, which got us in the right place, but yeah, things got worse. I was saying, yep, Adrian Wojnarowski was saying Rudy Gobert escalated verbal argument, whatever, and Kyle Anderson said, shut the bleep up, bitch, and all that. Yep, the disagreement started with Anderson telling Gobert to block some shots, Gobert telling him to grab a rebound, and it ended with all that scuffle and all that. That's from Woj. And that was interesting, and I was saying this team is a mess. So, then you get what was this, unacceptable, yeah, yep, and then the same flipping game, yep, Adrian Wojnarowski was actually earlier in the game. Minnesota Timberwolves forward Jaden McDaniels, who was seen punching the wall on his way to the halftime locker room, has a fractured hand, sources tell ESPN. Yep, so that was actually later on, probably, yeah, because they didn't announce it right away, so that's why that was tweeted a little later. Tanae Brown says, if it's between Anderson and Gobert, I know who I'm picking, and it's not close. Yep, Anderson, right? Yep, and me too. Gobert, yeah. Anderson does seem a lot tougher. Yeah, and Digits Hoops, this is actually, I tweeted it. I wonder if I should play it. I'm going to rewind it. Let's see. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but I'll give it a shot. Come on. Oh my God. Yeah, so it's like, yep, you guys kiss his ass way too much. And yeah, I could say that in the workplace about certain people too. People that get away with murder every day. Yeah, you all kiss his ass too much. What's wrong with you all? You have a decision to make this summer. Yeah. Don't tell me to focus. Yeah. So that's basically Anderson. Yep. Well, I can understand. If somebody told me that at work right now, I'd be pissed too. Because, yeah. I was saying, this was the Laker game. What an awful game. Neither of these teams deserve to go anywhere. Get the brooms out. See, somebody responded, and it was Vince Germano saying, stop it. Ooh, yep. Yep, I should have figured. You'd like, stop it. Like, are you crazy? Well, the Lakers are going to beat so I did stop it. The Lakers are going to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, and now, just in case he's listening, Wayne Hunt is going to say, stop it. Yeah, shut up, Joey. Shut up. Yeah, they're going to beat the Grizzlies. Lakers are going to beat the Grizzlies. So, yes, I did stop it. They're going to beat them. What was I saying? It's frightening, and he was the guy who was really, yep, I was talking about, what were we? Yeah. Tanae Brown said, what the hell happened to Anthony Edwards? He's been horrific tonight. I don't understand how he could be so good, like against the Pelicans, and then just disappear the following game. And I was saying it's frightening, and he was the guy we were really hoping to take the reins. Absolutely awful. Yep, and today he continued saying he took a hard fall, but he was missing everything before that too. Yep, see, exactly. Yep, so there's your evidence there. I don't understand how he can be so good, and then suddenly he'll be the biggest liability on the team for a game. It's like he's hung over playing today. It's so disappointing. Yeah, something wasn't right. I don't know if he wasn't feeling good or I don't know. It was really ridiculous. And I also tweeted out that LeBron absolutely hacks Ant, no call, barely is nudged by Anderson and starts freaking out. Stupid. Yep, I was saying that's stupid. Yeah, I was mad about that. And that's it, I guess, for the at TWolvesEX, at TWolvesEX. Please do give that Twitter a follow. It needs some love. It really does, actually. Facebook page, I did have it up. I'm going to make sure there's something else. So no comment on the recent post of the show back last April 7th. I posted the whole Woj, like tweet, whatever, from Score North and all that. Yep, Score North, shared it on Facebook, the tweet, and no response, unfortunately. Yeah, here we go. And then here's a good one from Clutch Points. So this is an anonymous NBA GM. If they made the schedule 60 games, players could find a way to load manage and do it for 40 games instead. Anonymous NBA GM. Yep. And you don't, yeah, and it's extremely frustrating, and it's lame, and it's stupid. Yeah, I think we're all sick of it. And it's funny how they put LeBron and Anthony Davis up there as well, because, well, I mean, yeah. Sean Grant says true, and Vince Germano says bingo. Unfortunately, one-word responses, but you know what? I'll take any response I get. Thank you guys very much. Sean Grant, I think he's from California. Yep. So he's in California now. So nice to hear from you, Sean. And, of course, Vinrock, Vince Germano out of Melbourne, Australia, and out of the Courtside podcast. I wish I could hear you guys going at it, because it would be fun to listen to. Memphis versus LA conversation, because, yep, Vince Germano is a Laker fan. Stu Benson is a Laker fan. And Wayne Hunt is a Memphis Grizzly fan. Wayne Hunt and Stu Benson are in Sydney, Australia. With that said, thank you all of you so much for listening to the show, and a huge shout out to Scott Doherty, who does Flip to Finch, which is a wonderful, wonderful Facebook page. Huge shout out to you. Really, he does a great job keeping up with things. With the Wolves, of course, game days and all that. So, and he's a very nice guy and lets me post, like announcements that the show is out and all that. So I just really appreciate you, and anybody that likes the show and all that from that page, thank you for listening, and hope you have a wonderful weekend and that this team can step up and get things done. Maybe we pull off a crazy upset over Denver, but I don't know. I think the odds of that are slim, even though Denver's one of the weaker Western Conference first place teams of all time, I gotta say. But we'll see. Hopefully, again, this summer, this team can make some better decisions than we made last summer. Let's just leave it at that. And again, have a nice week, and we'll see what happens in the next few hours and days, weeks, and all that good stuff.